Israel is being accused of staging a video reportedly showing the surrender of Hamas soldiers. So the footage on social media shows several dozen men stripped to their underwear. Israeli media say that these are Hamas fighters arrested at the Jabalia refugee camp. And one man is seen walking towards a soldier and handing over a rifle and a handgun. But note here how he's carrying the rifle in his left hand. However, Al Jazeera's verification unit, Sanad, has identified a second take of that exact same video. And the Palestinian man is now holding the rifle in his right hand. Like the first video, he walks forward to place the weapons in front of the Israeli soldiers. We're now joined by Marwan Bishara. He's Al Jazeera's senior political analyst. Marwan, not only that, but our reporters, in fact, say the man is well known in Gaza to be the owner of an aluminium workshop, and he was kidnapped apparently in the north of Gaza. To what extent do these videos undermine Israel's public diplomacy strategy that they're trying to put out?
I think it does undermine it, but that's not, of course, why they do it. They do it for the opposite effect. And that's how it is today with propaganda, right? Propaganda is an art. It's the art of lying. Israel used to be great at it. Israel used to be the best spinner there is. Netanyahu himself was a great spinner. But with time, Israel has lost its touch. Now, this art of propaganda that is meant to manipulate the friends, but not exactly deceive the enemies, is not working very well in an environment when everyone can see a video. We live in a global environment when you might want to tell something to the Israelis, but everyone else is watching, not just the Israelis. And they're doing it badly as well, right? Once upon a time, they used to spin it brilliantly. And what is the spin? What is at the heart of the spin? At the heart of the spin is a schizophrenic Israel. It's both a victim and a victimizer. It has to appear really strong, humiliate the Palestinians, do whatever it takes, kill, bomb, injure, and so on and so forth, destroy buildings, hospitals, schools. But at the same time, Israel is the victim of Hamas terrorism. Israel is the victim of Arab hostility and hatred. And it tries to play and balance always these two ideas, that it's both a victim, but it's also very strong. It's the strongest army in the Middle East, right? But when you try to do that in a global environment, when you are trying to show such poorly done propaganda, like we've seen at the hospitals, right, you become the laughingstock of the international community, of a whole generation that's quite savvy, looks at those videos and can tell, especially when something like Al Jazeera also exposes it for what it is, a lie, the way you have double takes. And we used to have these double takes at the hospitals, remember? When they had this grab-and-go bag behind the X-ray machine, it used to have one gun in the first take, and then it had two machine guns in the second take. So they're actually really becoming quite terrible.
So what's going wrong for them? I mean, you just said that they used to be very brilliant at this type of thing, and now they're making very obvious mistakes when they put out these videos.
This is a great question. But of course, it will take forever to explain what is happening to Israel. Israel is becoming quite vulgar, quite an exhibitionist state. And we've seen that in the character of Netanyahu himself. When you're fanatic, when you're running a country that is becoming more fascist and more fanatic, fanatics are not good at propaganda. It takes liberals to be good at propaganda. That's why Israel is looking like ISIS today. Those images look like ISIS. They look like the fascists in the Second World War. Because these images are reminders of what happened to the Jews and to others in Hungary and Poland and so on and so forth. How the Nazis really were so sadistic towards their victims in Poland and other places, and not just the Jews, other. So when you start showing images like that, so sadistic, so humiliating, so dehumanizing, maybe you're trying to tell a certain segment of the Israeli and the Western public opinion that you are brilliant. But the rest of the international community, and arguably even in the West itself, they're looking at this and say, wait a minute, this reminds us of images we've seen before. This is horrible what you're doing to the Palestinians. Second, Israel keeps saying that we are not like Hamas. We are an enlightened democracy. We are the only democracy in the Middle East. And then Israel's defenders, supporters say, well, Hamas does worse things to our captives than what Israel does. But Israel presumably is a democracy. It's not supposed to be like Hamas or like ISIS. It's supposed to be something presumably different. That's why it's getting these billions of dollars from the United States. That's why it plays basketball in European leagues, not in third world leagues, right? That's why it's getting all the preferential treatment in the West, because it's supposed to be Western. But when it acts like ISIS, when it acts like fascists, and it sells us propaganda that doesn't even work. Once upon a time, the propaganda used to be, we have to kill the Palestinians. We have no choice. We need to kill the Arabs because it's our existence at stake. And hence we used to call it, or they used to call it, Yurim v'buchim in Hebrew. They're shooting and crying. But when you look at the images from Gaza today, they're all shooting and laughing. We see one video after another video by Israeli soldiers, how they're destroying toy shops.
Right.
Right? How they are bombing a school, and the Israeli soldiers is on the phone with his daughter saying, this bombing is for you on your birthday. You can't be such a sadist, such a dehumanizer, such a fascist, and at the same time be good at propaganda. That's why I think this propaganda is blowing up in their faces. They're becoming bad at it, and they're becoming the laughingstock of the international community.
Thank you so much, Marwan Bishara.